You are listening to CBT Beyond the Couch podcast, a podcast featuring two millennial CBT therapists, Ebony and Kanisha, taking you beyond the couch, discussing all things mental health, faith, trauma, relationships, hot topics, and much more.
We have been friends through high school, college, grad school, and are now colleagues working towards combining realistic, holistic, and faith-based interventions to offer healing to all.
While we hope you enjoy listening and learning from our podcast, it does not replace your own journey with your licensed mental health professional.
We hope you enjoy. Welcome back, guys, to CBT Beyond the Couch. We are your hosts. I am Ebony.
And I'm Kanisha.
What's up?
What's poppin'? Episode 3.
Let's get it. All right. First things first. Couch check. I feel like I go first all the time, so you can go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. So for those of you who are probably just tuning in for the first time, our couch check is just where we assess our feelings and mood on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being just like trash, 10 being like absolute great, or absolute best. So today I'm at a 10. I've been on a high past 3 episodes.
I love it. I love it.
But no, life is just good. You know, everything is just going really well. So yeah, I'm at a 10.
I love that. For me, I would say I'm a 9.
Okay, we're getting up there.
I'm a 9. Yesterday I would say I was like at a 4.
Ooh, right.
I had a real bad migraine, y'all, but which was yesterday. We're supposed to record this yesterday, but I texted Kanisha, was like, hey, like I have a real bad migraine. I can't even like feel like my right side of my body, can't even see. And you know what Kanisha did? She said, I got you, friend. She pulled up on me. She had the ginger ale. She had the ginger chews. Yeah. She had the Excedrin. She had the other nausea. Yes, under my tongue. Then she like whipped me up and took me to Blimpie, got me a little turkey sandwich because your girl ain't haven't ate in 24 hours.
Lord.
And you know what? And then maybe like after an hour, I started feeling good. And you know, we went out last night, had a little good time, parlay. So your girl a 9 today because I feel good.
So
I'm really good.
We went from a 7 to an 8. So now we at a 9. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So our couch check is pretty good this week.
Yes.
Amazing. I love to hear it.
Love that shirt.
Thank you. Y'all see it.
Because y'all already know what's going on.
Aries, baby. Can you handle the fire? A lot of people can't, but that's okay.
It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be your water sign. Be your earth sign. It's okay. Can't handle the fire.
The fire is where it's at, though.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know. All right.
So,
what are we talking about today, friend?
Yeah. So our topic for episode 3 is friendships and boundaries.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I am nervous about this. I'm gonna say I'm not nervous. I just feel like I'm not well versed in this topic.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it the friendship part or the boundaries part?
Boundaries,
okay.
for sure.
Okay, we'll get into that.
Yeah,
we'll definitely get into that. Yeah. So first, we want to start off by defining friendship and defining friend and defining boundary or boundaries.
Okay.
So you want to read the definition of friend?
Yes. So first definition: 1 attached to another by affection or esteem. Second one that is not hostile. 3, 1 that favors or promotes something. 4, a favorite companion. Yeah, that's pretty much the definition.
Okay.
Number 1 attached to another by affection or esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, according to Merriam-Webster, a boundary is defined as something that indicates or fixes a limit or extent. And then, of course, the plural is boundaries. So, indicates or fixes a limit or an extent. So, yeah.
Okay. Whew.
I think those are some pretty, like, bold definitions.
Affection.
Friends.
And affection.
Yeah. Vulnerability.
Yeah.
So, at what point do you consider someone a friend when you meet them?
I am one of those who throw the word around easily.
Yeah, I think a lot of us do.
Like, I feel like, you know, even if I'm out with you and you bring a friend that I don't know, I'm like, hey friend, like what's up? Because you friend with my friend, so I consider you like, maybe a mutual friend.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the point where I consider someone a friend is the level of support that I'm able to give them and that we reciprocated back to me.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's
good.
where I can see, because like even at times I feel like I support people more than they can support me. But I feel like if I can support you because I know that you need me, we friends.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good.
Level support for
Yeah.
sure.
No, I think that's a good like point to reach to consider someone a friend. I think we do all throw around the word friend. And I think a lot of times it's just easier to identify someone as a friend if you don't really like if you introduce, oh, this is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What else, like really, like what else are you supposed to say?
this is my associate. This is my acquaintance. That just sounds weird.
That's tough.
Yeah, so we kind of throw that around, but I think we we set more so a stricter definition when it comes to like this is my close friend or this is my best
Mm-hmm.
friend. When friends become more like family, I think that's when
Mm-hmm.
we are able to have a distinct of like who this person is. This is a friend. This is like my sister. This is my friend though.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, we do throw that around. So I think for me, what was the question? At what point do you consider someone a friend? Um, when I Okay, so naturally I am a very like reserved, a shy person. So when I'm able to like really be me
Mm-hmm.
without the fear of like judgment or you looking at me funny or whatever. So when I'm comfortable to just be Kenisha, I think that's when I
Mm-hmm.
can consider you a friend. If I'm comfortable enough to like communicate like my thoughts or my feelings, then I consider you a friend. If I'm just sitting in the room and I'm quiet, you're probably not my friend. Because if I'm not engaged, then that means I'm still holding
Yeah.
back. So that means I'm not comfortable enough to consider you a friend. So I think that's when I consider someone a friend when I'm comfortable enough to be myself.
That's valid. Definitely valid. I can definitely see that taking place.
Yeah.
Okay. What makes a healthy friendship? Hmm. Trying to reflect on my friendships.
Okay, so I'll answer first. I think what makes a healthy friendship, being able to express like my feelings. Like if you've hurt my
Mm-hmm.
feelings and I can come to you and say, like, this really kind of bothered me. Um, so effective communication.
That.
Being able to move past like maybe small issues. So like last episode we talked about our ups and downs during college. But we were able to come back together and have a healthy friendship. So through communication. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that effective communication for sure, being able to express your thoughts and your feelings without judgment, without the other person being offended, or if they do get offended, like talking it out and still being able to have that good, solid friendship.
Yeah. I don't even know if I have much to even add from that because I totally agree. Um, because communication is key to
Even
friendships, but
relationship.
like relationship as well.
Yeah.
So like just the basic level of like even day to day work,
Mm-hmm.
me communicating with like other colleagues.
Yeah.
Communication. Even
Yeah.
though we're not friends, but just the basic level of communication is going to show how we can have a healthy work environment.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely agree with communication on that part. I'm trying to think what else what I consider healthy. Um, hmm. I think that also to be able to reciprocate back. I feel like all my friends are different, and so not having to shrink myself to be like, okay, this is how you are as a friend,
Yeah.
but also seeing how I can navigate in a whole different type of friendship with someone else shows like how the flexibility and the healthiness of it as well.
Yeah.
Like, um, I have friends who don't like to go out, or I have friends who like I want you to tell me like be honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends who like take it easy on me, but like do it with love. So it's like that's part of being healthy too in friendships, like not having the same type of mindset with each
Yeah.
friends. Because if I
Yeah.
go in like if you I know you chill laid back. I can't go in and start yelling at you like, what? why you do da 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 da? Whereas another friend I can do that with, but it's like knowing how healthy, knowing how you want me to approach you.
Right. Yeah.
That's healthy.
Yeah.
So the way I approach you, I can't approach Keaton the same way.
Right.
So it's like learning how your friends want to be navigated in your friendship as well.
Yeah. And I think another thing that makes a friendship healthy is just kind of like knowing, like you kind of mentioned having different friends for different things, or having friends that are at different places. So knowing where where each friend lies. So like you may have a friend that you talk to every day all the time, but you may have a friend that you talk to every 2 months. That doesn't make one better than the other. It's just where you guys are. So understanding those roles makes it healthy. And if things changes in their friendship, like sometimes when people get in relationships or people have kids, like the dynamics of friendships has to change. But being understanding and not cutting that person off because of that change in their life makes a friendship healthy as well.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm kind of going through that with one of my friends. She's not in a new relationship or having a kid or anything, but just her work life is like super stressful right now. So we went from like literally talking every day or every other day to now we may talk once a month. And that was really a struggle for me because like that was my go-to person. Right. But I really had to just take a step back and talk about it in therapy and understand like, okay, she's having a rough time right now. I can be there to support her, but I'm also giving her space and not expect her to text me or call me every day. So I think again that makes a healthy friendship.
Yeah.
Like being able to understand that and not cut her off for like not texting me back or not calling me like as often as
which goes back to the first thing you said, communication.
Yep. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. All right, you asked that one? All right. So number 3.
Oh.
All right, so we define boundaries as like a limit, or what was it? Something that indicates or fixes a limit or an extent. So what boundaries have you set in your friendships?
And as I said, this episode is tough for me because I don't feel like I have any concrete boundaries. I feel like the one that I do have is I don't tolerate disrespect.
Absolutely.
Like, that's non-negotiable for me.
Right.
And I would tell you first, like, hey, like, you're getting kind of disrespectful, or like they're really disrespecting me. And how you try to fix that is like, oh, dang, I offended you, or that's disrespectful. I apologize. Cool, we can move forward from that. The boundary was crossed. But like, I don't feel like I have any like none. Besides that, I don't feel there's anything else I can really say that's like a boundary.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but I feel like that's why I get burned out in friendships. I pour out so much. I don't know how to say no because I don't have a boundary. Like if you call me and you like, hey, I need this, or I'm like, okay, cool. Or I do have like this thing where I don't like to communicate with my friends and family as much when I get back from a trip, because I'm like trying to still process my experience, but also like just traveling in general can be like tiring.
Yeah.
So then when a friend called me and I'm like, like, I just got back and you want to talk to me, I'm still like, hey, like, what's up? Like, I just got back. I'm really trying to relax.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna still talk to you. But I don't feel like I have any
that you have like set in place.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like you have to do it, and I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But I remember I had those moments where somebody was like doing something. I'm like, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like besides disrespect.
And talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think same. So I feel like I have boundaries. I guess now, but I've never like said like, hey. Well, actually, no. I have said like, hey, don't do this. But as far as me having boundaries, I think my boundaries are, if you say you're gonna do something, do it. It's like simple as that. Because I struggle with that, like with my parents growing up. So for me, like I need consistency. Like if you say you're gonna do it, do it. I understand things come up, communicate that, cool. But when it like happens multiple times without communication or even an explanation, like that's where I draw the line. I think another boundary that I may have, and I think I've learned this over time. Like you, I had a hard time saying no, but like now, like if I don't want to do something, I'm like, gonna do it. Like just that's
I love that. I can't do
like,
that yet.
and I think before I would like either come up with excuses or like over explain myself. But now I'm just
Mm.
like, no, I'm just gonna hang out at home tonight, or
Mm.
I just that's not something I want to do right now. So I think that's kind of about it. And then the person on the other side that's receiving that, understanding that. And if you don't understand that, then obviously we don't need to be friends. But I think all of my friends do a good job of understanding. Like, if I
Yeah.
don't want to go out tonight, y'all have fun. I'll catch you when I feel like it.
Yeah, it's been times when you don't show up. And we like, cool.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm saying like I'm on the way, I'm coming, and then I don't show up. I'm saying
Right.
like, no, I'm not coming, but y'all have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's valid.
yeah, but the boundary I think that I mentioned about being expressed, and it was actually between me and you. Remember like the neck thing? I don't like people to touch my neck. And she did that one time, and like I got a little crazy, but she respected it, and it never happened again.
Never happened again, guys.
So that's a boundary. Like, don't if I because I'm not a touchy person, but I also have a little trauma with that. So yeah,
It's just so like me when people hang up on me, don't hang up on me.
yeah,
Like that's real because I feel like you saying like F this, I don't feel like talking to you. Whereas I feel like communication is so important. You can't tell me you don't want to talk to me right now. Let's get it through. Like,
yeah,
let's talk about it. Even if you don't talk about it right now, be like, hey, I don't want to talk about this right now. Can I call you back like in an hour or
right.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Cool. But don't hang up on me.
Communication.
Don't do that.
I feel like it's also disrespectful to hang up on somebody.
Disrespecting me.
So
back to my number one boundary.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect me.
Right.
But like you said, I think I forgot how you put it, but I have a hard time. I think you're talking about if you do something like if you say it, do it. I have a hard time in between like holding people accountable.
Mm.
Like this side is accountability, but this side is grace.
Mm.
So I have a hard time like I'm gonna hold you accountable of doing this. Like you told me you're gonna do it, but if you fail me, I know I have to offer you grace. I think that's the hardest. That's why I feel like I also too like my boundary gets so flocked because I feel like the grace part takes the most.
But how many times does it have to happen? Like
Yeah.
before it's like, okay, I'm holding you accountable. Because yes, grace, like I said, grace, understanding. Things happen. Yes, sometimes people might plan on doing something, but not be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. But it's to the point of like when you every time we make plans or every time you say you're gonna do something, if I get to a point where I don't even believe it's gonna happen, then I don't need to be like we don't need to be hanging out because obviously you don't keep your word, and it's not just because something's coming up every single time. So it's like you get to a point like I can't keep giving you this much grace.
Right.
I can't be this understanding.
Yeah.
So
that's true. That's valid.
Yeah, but I also feel like if that continues to happen so many times, it's a one-sided friendship, and who wants to be a part of that?
Nobody.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So that leads me into the next question: have you ever had to end a friendship?
This can go real deep. I feel like because I've had it happen to me, but also I have ended a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about last episode Keenan, who we during the snowstorm went to his house. Keenan and I have been friends now since I met him in college for 10 years. We had a huge falling out in college because of a situation where I felt like he betrayed one of our other friends. And at that point, I'm like, if that's how you rocking, I can't really rock with you like that. And that's what I told him. And so we went like a couple of months, maybe a year without talking to each other. And then I feel like someone brought him up to my dorm room, was like, y'all need to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, okay. And at that point, he apologized and me, Grace. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. We can like work towards it. So I felt like that I had to end it just because I didn't feel like if you can betray someone like that and they're close to you, I don't know how you will do it for me. Yeah. So that has happened before. And then we're in the opposite way where someone has to end things with me. We didn't necessarily end our friendship, but like we were super close. The night in the club, I was actually with them.
Mm.
The club fight from last episode. Not the fight, but did everything together. She's also my line sister, and like super close. Spend the night at my house. We make like I'll bring my like blankets out. We would have like sleepovers in my living room, like always together type vibe. But then it came to a point where we were not as close. I was also in a relationship at the time too, when she was too.
Mm-hmm.
She's also married to the woman that she was dating at the time. So our relationship, she was dating, and we would do double date stuff together. But it came to a point where we were not clicking and not as close, and it wasn't like because at the same time she's my line sister, so like that's my line sister.
Mm-hmm.
But it also to the point where I didn't. Same thing with us. I felt like I don't even know how to fix this,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just gonna just take it what it is.
Yeah.
If I see her, what's up? If you need me, cool. But I don't have the energy right now, only because I was so focused on relationship.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that she ended things with me because, well, which I'll talk about in the next question. But yeah,
because you were focused. She felt like you were focused more on your
Mhm.
relationship. Okay. I don't know if someone's ever ended a friendship with me. I feel like a lot of my friendships either we just kind of grow apart because of either distance or just growing up. But I did have to end a friendship. I want to say 3 years ago. Yeah, was that 2020? One of those years.
yeah, it's been a pandemic for sure.
Okay.
21.
I don't know. Either way, I had to end the friendship because of the thing, like not keeping your word, saying you're gonna do something, and then multiple times the ball was dropped. And the ball was dropped not because like actual things were going on, just kind of because she didn't feel like it, or she forgot, or like she wanted to go do something else but didn't communicate that with me. I think for me the final straw was one weekend. So like I mentioned before, I moved back from Lancaster College. So one weekend I went up to where we went to college to visit her and some other friends, of course, and we had plans. And she was a part of creating these plans. And then once we got to the place, she had a bunch of excuses as to why she couldn't come. And then one of my other friends looked at her social media and she was hanging out with someone else. And I think for me that really like hurt my feelings. And again, because it's not the first time you said you were gonna do something and didn't do it. And knowing that you were like one of the main reasons I came up there anyway, because I didn't want to go, but I was like, I need to go see my friends. Specifically her. So that was just that was a lot for me. And then after that, because I didn't even honestly, I dropped the ball because I didn't communicate my feelings. But then she came back. The other friend that found the social media post with her hanging out with someone else, she came at her sideways, and I didn't like that. So that's when I just kind of like I let her have it, and we have not spoken since then. So
yeah, that was 2020. I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I think it was in 2020. Yeah, so it's been that's crazy. So yeah, to end that friendship, I think that's the only friendship that I had to like actually end and like remove myself from. But like I said, I've had other friendships that we just kind of grew apart. Nothing bad, like I probably still tell them happy birthday and talk to them and stuff like that every now and then. But that's the only friendship that I had to end. But I still can't think of a friendship where somebody ended a friendship with me. And that might sound like like I think I'm,
She that girl.
But no, I don't think I am that girl. Well, I am that girl. But I just don't. And if someone has, reach out. We can talk about it. But I know I can't recall right now or think of a time where maybe somebody had to end a friendship with me because of something I've done. Because like you, like I've always extended grace. I've always been very understanding. I can even remember when I was in like 9th or 10th grade, this girl was like my best friend. And it was like after church, she was like with the boy that I like, and I guess she said he was trying to talk to her, but knowing her, she probably was going for it. And even after that, I forgave her. We were still besties. And looking back, I was like, that's dumb. Like I should not have like been okay with that, but I didn't end that friendship. So I feel like I've always been like understanding and let people have multiple chances.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't think of a time of something that I could have done that somebody could have ended a friendship with me. So yeah, and I think ending like a lot of times we don't talk about friendship breakups, but that's hard.
Yeah. Especially like that's my whole line sister.
Yeah.
So like still going to chapter meetings, still doing events together, and I'm like, I really like I don't know how we rocking, but I'm gonna still hug you, and like if you need me, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, like maybe 2 years ago, she finally told me, she was like, you were just not the same person who I knew before you were dating. And like I said, I was head over heels in a relationship.
We mentioned that when you get in a relationship, things do change in friendships.
And so like now, like we back cool and like we talk all the time.
Yeah.
But it like sucks to know like, dang, how do I navigate in relationships? Because I haven't been in one since then. So it's like, how do I navigate being a great friend, but also being a great girlfriend too?
Right.
And how's that? Like, how did I even struggle with that?
Right.
Because I guess I want to spend more time with him and not.
Yeah. But that's not uncommon. Like I said, a lot of people struggle with that. I think I struggled with that with my older sister when she got married. Because my older sister is like, well, she still is like my best friend, or is my best friend. I tell her everything. So when she got into a relationship, it was a little bit hard to accept too. But once it was like, okay, we're getting married, it was like, I'm losing my sister. I'm losing my best friend. So it took me some time to process and to kind of, and again, struggling to communicate that with her. I was just being mean, and she didn't know why. But after I like processed it, we were able to talk it out, and our relationship is totally great and fine now. But it changed, and it took time to kind of accept that change. So because there are boundaries that are set in place once somebody gets into a serious relationship. So
yeah.
So I think relationships, friendships, and boundaries, they all go hand in hand.
Sheesh. All right. How to reconcile a friendship after a boundary has been compromised or after a serious issue?
You kind of just touched on that with your line sister.
Yeah.
Y'all were able to reconcile.
This next situation, I don't know if I want to talk about it or not, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there.
I was crying on the last episode, so you got to be vulnerable too.
All right. So I had a guy best friend, platonic. We became friends 2016. Like I said, during that time, 2 hours relationship. So I knew then, like, you know, you're my best friend, no boundaries crossed, da 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 da. I crossed the boundary of making the friendship from platonic to intimate. And to say now we're not friends because that boundary was crossed. Yeah. So I feel like it makes me sad because I really, I'm not gonna cry. Whoa. No, but like he was a great guy best friend. Like whenever I had anything going on, like I remember I was getting baptized. He was like, I can't be there, but like I wish I could be there. Like he called me, prayed over me, like this is great. Like all that, always been a part of like the major things in my life. Like even last week with like how hectic with like grandmothers and all that stuff. He would have been the one like I might get in a car and come out and like make sure you good.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I was grieving that too. Like, so like, dang, like the one person who I know, like, who could really pour into me and fill my cup back up, I don't have anymore. So
do you think when you cross that boundary from just friends to more than friends, it's harder to reconcile after that?
Absolutely.
Do you think it's possible though?
I feel like it's possible.
Okay.
But the situation was he blocked me because he's in a relationship
Mm.
that I didn't know about.
Wow.
And so I guess he's kind of just hit ahead like you and Ebony are more than just
Friend.
platonic.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
I didn't know. But then again, it's like, are we really best friends if I didn't know that you was in a relationship?
Right.
Because I should have known.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't have the energy right now to fix it.
Okay. But do you think it could ever be reconciled or resolved?
I feel like it could.
Okay.
But not right now.
Understandable.
Not right now. Only because I felt like I just looking at that like, why couldn't you just tell me?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're friends. But then again, like I feel like I'm a thinker. So like, I'm trying to make the pieces in my head fit together. I'm like, you probably want to tell me because wanted to make things beyond just friends at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't want to tell me, or like, I mean, at that point too, at one point I thought we probably would have been more than friends at one point, but at the same time, like, he's my friend. I'm not even gonna push that boundary for it to get pushed upon me. Like, yeah, we can't be friends anymore because I'm in a relationship.
Yeah.
And block me.
Yes.
I ain't never been blocked by nobody before.
I have. It happens. I've been blocked. I've been the blocker. It happens.
Have I ever blocked someone? Maybe temporarily, like just to, like, you piss me off.
Yeah. Let me think. So, a friendship that was reconciled after a boundary had been compromised after a serious issue. I mean, obviously us. But other than us, I'll say no. How to do it. So how did we do it? Communicating. As simple as that. Communicating, grace, understanding, setting boundaries.
Yeah.
That's how we did it. But similar to you, I did have a guy best friend growing up. Probably when I think we became friends when we were like 15, 16. Crossed the line. And then the friendship never he wasn't able to come back and be friends, which is kind of sad because I feel like if we wouldn't have done that, we probably still would be friends today. Because again, like we were best friends. Like he was a good friend. I mean, he wasn't great in other areas, but
Screaming.
But he was a great friend. No, like he was always there for me when I needed him. Like he was there for me when my grandma passed away, which was the first time I experienced like losing someone. He was there for me during all types of transitions, graduating high school, graduating college. So yeah, but we were able to like reconcile the friendship after so many boundaries have been crossed. So I do think it is much harder to reconcile a friendship with a male friend after boundaries have been crossed than it is than with a female friend. Just simply because obviously when it comes to females and males, there's that, different types of connections. And maybe at one point, one person probably did want more and just didn't express that. So I do feel like it is harder to reconcile. Like you said, is it possible? Yeah, depending on the people. Obviously for us, it wasn't. Maybe for you one day. I doubt it'll happen for me. But I'm okay with that. Like, it is what it is. Like, I have other, like, awesome male best friends that has my back no matter what.
Same.
So, and we will never cross that line just because I already know, like, where that goes. Also, don't even see them like that, so I wouldn't even want to cross that line. But yeah, I think it is harder to reconcile after certain things, depending on the person and the relationship.
I feel like right now I'm struggling with the opposite. Like I met someone to intentionally date them. So the boundary, like there was no boundary, but now we want to be friends. And it's like, how?
That's hard.
It's backwards. Like how? Because the the affection was there.
Yeah.
we were like friends, but like now to be strictly friends,
Yeah.
like my intentions when I met you were not to
To
be
be
your
with you.
friend.
It's to be with you.
So then it's like, okay,
Hmm.
don't think we can date, cool,
Yeah.
so we're friends, but it's like,
So with that, I think it's finding the boundaries of like, what are your boundaries in this relationship? Because you started off wanting it to be a relationship, and now it's like you're having to try to remove those thoughts in order to just be friends. And I know for us females, that's hard.
tough.
Yeah.
Overcooked steak, tough.
I mean, because most of the time, especially if we meet someone new and he's looking good and he seemed like the one you like, oh, I'm about to marry this man.
Period.
So it's hard to go from that to like, oh, this is my homie.
Like, you call me bro. You call me bro.
Right. So
Okay.
I think with that one, you just gonna have to figure out what your boundaries are and how to implement those boundaries. I'm just a messenger.
I know. Talk about that off the camera.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions you have maybe about friendships or boundaries?
I think.
Awkward silence.
I know.
If you're listening, you're like, did it go out?
Right.
No, I think that pretty much. I mean, we defined it. We talked about our experiences in friendships, and so
I don't think do I have any more friendship issues I've ever had too.
Well, as you think, I will say, especially now that we've gotten older, and I know a lot of people get to a point of like you really pray for like solid friendships. Because I know for me, growing up, I've always had a best friend, a girl best friend, and she is always like I won't say the opposite of me, but it's always like I'm salt, she's pepper. So I have been praying like, God, send me like friends that are like me. Like, not saying that anything was wrong with those friends, but as I've gotten older and growing, like I just want more like faith based people. But as we've gotten older, we've really grown and found some really solid like friends. I would say our friend group is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question for you. What do you think is the key component from someone being like your friend versus your best friend?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so I think best friend. So again, I talked about being myself. Is how I know that I can even call you a friend. But like when I have like absolutely no filters on. So I consider Julius as my best friend, and I consider Takayla as my best friend, as well as Deasia. So Julius, I feel like time, because I've known him for so long. Also during high school, like he was also there for me during like the roughest time of my life. But also I just know like if I need something, I can call Julius. If he needs something, I got him. So I think that is what established like us being best friends. And in college, he was the only person that like I visited. Like, so
definitely.
So that was my best friend. Deasia, I still consider her my best friend, but she's a best friend that we don't talk every day, every week.
Right.
But I know if something important is happening or if I need her, she's there. And also especially our senior year of high school, it was just me and her, like ride or die, like all the time. Like that's who I was with. That's who I left school with. That's who I was with walking around school. Like pretty sure we had like 6 out of 7 classes together our senior year. So she's just always been a person who I know, like she got my back too. Like if I call her right now and say, hey, you want to go eat? Like we gonna go eat. Or if something important is happening in our lives, we invite each other and like birthdays and stuff. She's just always there. So Again, that's another thing. Time, like again, me and her have been friends for 11 years. Um, and Tequila, me and Tequila met when I started working at Chick-fil-A. She was actually my manager. So that would have been sophomore year of college, I believe. Yeah. Um, and you can ask her today. I don't even know how we became friends. I'm pretty sure I probably was struggling and just was pouring my heart out and telling her all my business, and then we just became
That's how it
friends.
be though.
Yeah, and from there we just talked all the time, and we were always together. And she was one of those friends at that time that was like, um, in church. You know, she loves God. So for me, it was like finally somebody that like loves God as much as I do, and like loves church as much as I do. So that's how we became close, and she became like my best friend. Um, Other people, so like you, Janaya, y'all are my best friends, but I don't consider y'all like my best friend because y'all are like family. Yeah, Janaya was like my sister, so when people like best friend, I'm like that's my sister, what?
Right.
So I don't really call y'all my best friends, but those are the three people that I consider my best friends. So just being able to, again, no filter, um, being there no matter what. Um, all of y'all have met my mama, has talked to my mama. Everybody don't get that privilege because
Yeah.
my mama is not trying to, and my mom will definitely be the one to be like, nah, that
Mm-hmm.
person ain't it. Mm-mm. And she's done that for a few of people that I've called my friend or my best friend. She's like, I've always been a little skeptical about that one. And she ends up always being right.
Yeah.
So, especially so if you've been around my family, absolutely, you would be considered like the best friend. So, what about you?
Like you said, I feel like for me, the two things will be support and time. Like I said, Keenan's my best friend. You know, we had a huge falling out, but like the same thing. Like even though he lives in New York and he lived in DC for a little bit, if I call Keenan and be like, "Hey, I need you," he probably will be like, "I can't get to you right now, but what is something I can do right now
Mm-hmm.
that I can do for you until I get to you?"
Right.
Type friendship.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, cool." Like I'll tell him, and that's it. Or he'll see me like post something, and he'll be like, he gonna support it, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
And we also just had those moments where like he is like, I do have several guy friends, but like he is the one where I can go to, and I'm like, I don't want to hear the girly stuff. I need you to tell me like from a man.
Oh yeah.
What did I do, or
Yeah.
like how? Give me your perspective on this. And he like no chaser. He like, you shouldn't have done that, or
Mm-hmm.
he going, this is how he doing it because of this. And I'm like, cool. Then I can go back and see. I'm like, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
So with him, definitely, time to, we've been friends for 10 years. My line sister Bria, who is also my back, her support, um, is weird, and I don't want to say this like in a non like a crazy way, but Bria's the type of person that I would want to have as a spouse, but in a male figure.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Okay.
the way she loves me, the way she supports me, the way she just like listens to me. Um, like I can say something and like I can say, "Ooh, I really like those shoes," or like, "I really
Mm-hmm.
like that candy." Next time I go see her, she gonna have it in her house,
Oh, I
and it's
love
like,
that.
cause like
Yeah.
she just listens and knows, or like her support is just like the two times I always remember. One, my 26th birthday, I went to LA. She flew to LA and had my birthday cake like on the plane with her.
Oh wow.
Like
That's
support.
dedication.
And then the second time, then COVID, my master's program, graduating, and she was like, I can't be there, but I'll be there at the end, like at your whatever you're doing at your house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the director of the program is calling my name. I hear someone ski wee, and I'm like, who is that? And I turn around, and she's sitting there, and it's like you drove all from from Atlanta to Athens to be here. I didn't even know where you were. I'm thinking you in the sky because she's a flight attendant at the time, and I get you there.
Oh.
Like support. It is like you just like even every day this week. I mean, during our birthday week, she would text me like countdown, like 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, and it's like, cause you really the support level is just there. But like other people, like considering like those like for male and female top two, But like you, my friend Sydney, other line sisters as well. It's like that support.
Yeah.
It just also too, like you said, if you met my mama, had a conversation with her, you in there.
Yeah.
Like my mama, because I don't. First of all, I don't bring nobody home to my mama. Even like men wise, only two. One I dated and one who, yeah. Like if you met my mama and she know you, you in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that validation from our pops is very important.
Yeah.
So that's how you know when you in there. Because mama don't let everybody in her house.
Don't do it. Won't do it.
So yeah, that's how you know. Like you a bestie.
Yeah,
Besties for the resties. So yeah.
Yeah, supporting time.
Yes. I love that. Okay. Well, I hope y'all learned something about friends and boundaries. And we hope that you maybe even evaluate like what your friendships
I was
like.
gonna say that take time to just look at your friendships.
Yeah.
And if you have any that you feel like you want to fix, like take time to feel like how valuable that friendship is or were to you, and start like just evaluating like what's the next step to do it. Ours was spontaneous because sadly we had a death with a friend, but you had to do it though.
Yeah, and reconciliation is always possible.
Yeah, had to do it.
Yeah,
had to do it. Yeah. All right, how you feel?
Good.
Good. Okay, you ready for the last part?
Yes, our coping skill and our affirmation of the week.
Let's do it.
Oh, it's almost off this down.
All right. Coping skill is, we say this earlier today. Go on a day trip or a weekend getaway.
Ooh.
And y'all know my coping skill already. Traveling.
Yes.
Book that flight.
Yes.
Probably.
And if you have a friend that you're trying to reconcile with, and if you guys have been friends for a long time, that could be a coping mechanism to get back to a good place.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. And our affirmation is, I am enough and I have enough. Okay.
Say that.
Yeah. That's
I am enough. I need that right now. Yeah.
And that's actually a quote from a therapist who is also a pastor. Her name is Dr. Anita Phillips. But that just led me to think about, like, if you are a person who feels like you don't have friends or you don't have good friends and you really like struggle and want friends, just pray and ask God to like really send you solid people, because friendships are important. Like we can't be out here just being by ourselves. We need friends.
Yeah, relationship.
So, yeah. So pray for that and know that if people aren't able to accept you for who you are, God will bring people who will, because you are enough. You have enough. So, full circle.
Well, we tell you every week, make sure you take these coping skills and affirmations beyond the couch.
Yes. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we can't wait to see y'all next week.
Peace.
Bye.